Hello, hello, and welcome to this Galactic Realm reading live. I'm just checking that I'm going live on both Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, going live on Facebook, just checking YouTube. If anyone is there, if anyone is joining me, please comment. Yes, going live on YouTube as well. So, hi, Sarah. Thank you. It's always lovely when the first person comments because I never really know what's going on with this technology and who can hear what and who can do what. So, yes, it's going live on both Facebook and YouTube, and you're on Facebook, Sarah, I see. So, hello, beautiful Sarah. Thank you so much for commenting. Okay, so this is something quite different. I'm aware that the video for this is going to stay up on Facebook and stay up on YouTube. So I'm going to start off a little bit like I'm doing one of my regular videos on YouTube because I got drawn to doing this. I wasn't going to, I'm having time out at the moment. But you know what it's like when spirit calls. You have that calling, you have that inspiration, and it's however uncomfortable it is to do something new, we know that it's more uncomfortable to ignore it. Hi, Henna. Thank you so much for commenting. Lots of love to you on YouTube. So I've got a Facebook and YouTube comment now, so that's good. So yes, I'm following the energy and doing as I'm told, basically. But I'm finding this actually very interesting for myself. So we are at 8 o'clock in Spain on the 8th of the 8th. Now, there's a lot of talk about Lionsgate Portal. There's a lot of talk about the energies coming in at this time. And I think we're probably all feeling it. I always feel very emotional at these times as I feel the energies coming in. Hence, I want to take time out and relax, but no, got told to do this. So what I want to talk about today, really, and to help, I want to do some readings as well. In the hope that the readings will be able to help you as much as I have been helped by my galactic reading that I had over 10 years ago. So why am I into the galactic realms? Let's start there. The first thing is I'm a soul realignment practitioner, and I have been for over 10 years now. And that involves past life healing, and it involves Akashic record readings of the soul, and it involves soul profiles. And part of the soul profile is the galactic family. And it's worded, it may have changed now, but 10 years ago, it was worded soul group of origination. And even at the time, I thought that sounded strange because I'm not sure that we originate from there, because of course we are all one and we are all source energy choosing to experience itself through our individuality. So even from an early start with the soul realignment work, I have understood that it's about resonance and not so much about you are this particular star seed and you are from this place. Because with recent great awakenings, if we're not shifting our perceptions, then we're not evolving, are we? And my understanding now from a more quantum perspective, which is actually in line with the Arcturian consciousness. The Arcturian consciousness is very much interested in metaphysics. And I used to say that I am Arcturian. I am an Arcturian starseed. It really resonated with me in the beginning when I first discovered that, or I should say remembered that. it actually gave me those, that wave of self-realization, that makes you it makes you well up with emotion. People sometimes call it the goosebumps, but I call it the truth bumps. I had that when I first was told or found out that I was an Arcturian starseed. So that's an example of resonance. That wave of self-realization that makes us well up is a sign that we are learning something relevant, and we are resonating with some consciousness that we are connected to. And I want to word it like that because I often wondered, we're raising our consciousness level at this time of the Great Awakening. And I often wondered, we're coming into this unity and this oneness of fifth dimensional consciousness. And I was thinking, and then we go into the non-physical realms, and it's all separation again, spirit guides and angels and galactic family and passed over loved ones. And suddenly we're in this area of separation. And so it isn't really, because from a quantum perspective, we know that everything is frequency. And it's not just frequency. Everything is sound frequency and mathematical. It's actually mathematical. So there's actually an equation for everything and a tone. We're all actually tones, I guess. Now, before I speak any more on quantum mechanics or the quantum truths, I want to make it clear that I am not a quantum physicist in any shape or form. But also, I'm not a car mechanic, but I can drive a car. And I do think it's important to understand our avatars, our human avatars, as the creator beings that they are, and how to look after them. And so understanding enough, we understand enough how to look after our cars. Okay, so we need to learn enough quantum manifestation, to understand how to look after this vehicle that we're inhabiting for this lifetime. So, but from a quantum perspective, it is all about resonance. And so the other thing that I want to say, for example, so we're not actually from somewhere else. I want to make this clear before I do any readings. That's why I'm doing this, because I don't want to mislead anybody. And I don't want to perpetuate the perception of separation, which can come with knowing one's galactic family of resonance. I'm Arcturian, you're Sirian. It's okay, if you understand the bigger picture to word it like this. But I really want to kind of explain the bigger picture a little bit more. So you are not from somewhere else. You are here. You are entirely here, always in the now moment. So this energy coming in today is very much Sirian energy, Sirian consciousness, because it's coming from the star Sirius. And I've often, during the 10 years of doing this work, I've often found that people that come to me for a soul profile reading at this time during the Lionsgate portal are very often what I would call Sirian starseeds. And I've always thought that this is because the Sirian consciousness is actually in the 12th dimension. The Arcturian consciousness is in the 9th, typically. This is very generalized. We're operating in the 4th dimension because we're busy mastering our thoughts and our emotions, which are our emotional and mental energy bodies, which are 4th dimensional. We are mastering them in order to access 5th dimensional levels of consciousness. Very few people will be incarnated who are vibrating in the 6th dimension. That's usually our spirit guides, our passed over loved ones. Some people will have spirit guides that are in the 7th dimension if they're helping them on some kind of spiritual project or what have you. So you can see how there are different dimensions, and each dimension has, hi Hazel, every dimension has a higher and higher frequency, and will have its own consciousness. And that's what we're tapping into. So let's relate it to the school system. While we're in the 4th grade, we can access the curriculum in the 5th grade, probably quite easily. We might be able to access the curriculum in the 6th grade, but we're going to really struggle to access the curriculum in the 12th grade, aren't we? And I've always thought that the reason that I get so many Syrian starseeds coming to me was because the 12th dimension is so difficult to access. And it's not only that, it's that we were not brought up to believe in this stuff. That's the biggest block, isn't it? That we were not brought up to believe in the galactic realm. Not only that, but anyone that did believe in aliens was considered crazy, let alone to believe that we're actually, hybrids or what have you, or that we're actually connected to that consciousness. So first of all, we've got all of that to overcome with our belief system, haven't we? But also, what I find interesting is it's about it's about the characteristics of each galactic family. So let's just talk a little bit about that as to why we would resonate with one and not another. So they're not really galactic. They're not places. They're actually harmonic domains. From a quantum perspective, they're harmonic domains. And they are consciousness. And I think it's about us, our blueprint, our oversoul, our destiny, choosing for us to embody certain qualities. And I want to use the word qualities here. It's a bit like, in astrology, every planet and house has a quality, not perceived as positive or negative. It depends, doesn't it? It's the same with the tarot cards. There's all these qualities to them, and they can be perceived as positive or negative. It's about the quality, isn't it? Let's take, for example, the Emperor card, fire, Aries, a pioneer, strong, this masculine energy. It's courageous and bold and this kind of thing. They're all kind of perceived as positive. Yet also Aries being ruled by Mars, it can be quite warrior-like, can be quite strong. And I mean, strong you can be too strong or not strong enough. It's everything is, depending on the way that you're using it. So I want to make that clear, because I'm going to be talking about characteristics and qualities hopefully without putting any judgment on them as to whether they're positive or negative, because that's up to us, really, isn't it? But each galactic consciousness will have its own frequency architecture. So it will have its own frequency to it, and it will have wisdom encoded in it, its own wisdom encoded in it. And it also has service archetypes. And the service archetypes are the bits that I like best, because the service archetypes are basically how you serve humanity. And I think if anyone is watching this anywhere, we're looking at how we are of service to humanity at this time of the Great Awakening. We are here to raise the consciousness level of humanity. And there's a lot of us that are like, how do I do that? And what are my own unique gifts? Because we know that we're all fractals of Source. Source wants to experience itself. You can't experience yourself in the oneness because there's nothing to compare yourself with. So Source decided to break up into individual soul facets or what have you, to experience its uniqueness. And so we're actually all programmed to be unique from everybody else. Hi, Liz. And so that uniqueness, some might say, was knocked out of us at a young age when we went to school and had to wear a uniform and had to all study the same and do the same. Whereas in fact, we all want to do different things, don't we? And we want to express ourselves and express that individuality and that uniqueness. And when we understand that that's what it's all about, then that's when we really break free and that's when we can really find our abundance, because what we're doing is following our energy, and that is when we align or become coherent with our oversoul's blueprint, which is what we came here to do. So that individuality bit is really important, and how you serve will be connected to that. So each of the galactic realms has its own qualities and characteristics. But the way I look at it, so they're not literal star families, and they're not separate races. I want to make it clear. I do not want to perpetuate the perception of separation here. There is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful feeling of oneness when you do Akashic record readings like this. And everybody is just there to help everybody. But the way I'm looking at it now, after 10 years of working with soul realignment, is, like, for example, if I use myself as an example, my soul chose to embody Arcturian consciousness. And the Arcturian qualities, some of them, the main ones are, so you might resonate with this, is opening the heart, helping people open their hearts, raising frequency, helping people raise their frequency, and ridding the planet of lower frequency, dense energy. And when I heard that, 10 years ago, I was already working with the emotion code. I was already doing the heart wall healings. And it just made me laugh, because I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I do. I help people heal their hearts, open their hearts. I help people raise their frequency through using the emotion code. And that's what I focus a lot on is, by mastering our emotions and our thoughts, we are not only raising our frequency, but we are ridding ourselves of that density of the pain body, as Eckhart Tolle would call it. So that's very much me embodying the characteristics and the consciousness of the Arcturians, or the Arcturian consciousness, I should say. And so my oversoul, or my higher self, however you want to phrase it, chose for me to do that. But I have been questioning why I'm so drawn to the Syrian energy as well. I'm often, if I'm having a meditation or I'm having, a consciousn's rising experience, the garden retreat is what we do. I often have Syrian consciousness coming to me, and getting downloads and stuff from them. And I was wondering why I have this connection. And this is how I'm viewing it now. It's more like we're traveling around the world. I can use myself as an example again. So my soul chose for me to be incarnated in England with English parents, and to therefore experience the qualities of being English. So, for example, speaking the language, being brought up on roast beef, I don't know, whatever the, whatever the customs are of England. But then once we've embodied that, now most people I work with actually don't live in the country that they were born in. So that's quite interesting. And then we go and travel and maybe live in another country because we resonate. Let's bring it back to resonance. We resonate with the other country. So I'm in Spain, resonating with the Spanish consciousness. So therefore, I'm learning the Spanish language, I'm eating paella, and, I'm resonating with a lot of the ways of life of Spain. And that's like embodying it, because if I move on to another country, let's say, for example, India, I'm going to take everything with me. I'm going to go to India still being able to speak English and still being able to speak what Spanish I have, and still knowing how to, cook a roast dinner, still enjoying paella, you take it with you. But there I will be learning about, the wonders of Ayurveda and dancing Bollywood style, and taking on more of the qualities of that consciousness, if that makes sense. So I do think this is why I'm calling it now not Soul Group of Origination. I'm calling it Galactic Family of Resonance, because we can resonate once we've embodied the wisdom, the encoded wisdom of one consciousness. We can go and embody, the consciousness of other countries or galactic families. And it's particularly relevant now today at Lionsgate because of the energy coming in from the Sirius star. And so I think the reason that this Lionsgate portal is feeling more powerful than others, I think it's because of the Great Awakening. And I think it's because of the qualities of the Sirian consciousness that's coming in. And I believe that it's because we are all having an opportunity to resonate with and embody the wisdom of the Sirian consciousness. So we don't have to be star seeds as such. We can use those terms. It doesn't matter. There's nothing wrong with them. I mean, it's like I would say, I am English. I wouldn't go around saying, I resonate with the English consciousness. So it's okay, if you want to have that feeling of belonging. And that's not a problem as long as we understand the bigger picture behind it. I think that's the point I want to make, because I got a lot out of that feeling of belonging with the Arcturians. I often referred to them as my Arcturians, and I often perceived them as being greater than me. But I'm talking about me, Deborah, the avatar, the human with all her limitations, living in this, this limited place or time and space or what have you on the earth plane. And so I used to there's a little child in all of us that wants to be looked after. And we want to seek a mentor. We want to seek guidance. And we do feel like it's greater than us because it is us. It's our higher self. But sometimes when we're in the density of the human experience, we kind of shrink into our little self, if you know what I mean. So it's okay to feel that sense of belonging and to develop a relationship with your galactic family in that way, as long as we understand that it's actually about resonance, and it is about resonating with the consciousness and embodying the gifts. I want to call them gifts as well. So I just want to look at the characteristics and qualities of the Sirian consciousness, so that we can consciously embody it at this time. So Sirians are very invested in improving things. This is what they do best. They improve things. They find a better way. I am reading from some notes just to make sure that I cover everything. Their creativity is inspired by existing structures. Now, the Sirian consciousness is, they often don't feel, I'm going to say Sirian starseeds, okay? The Sirian starseeds often don't feel that they're very creative, because they're not creating from scratch. They're taking something that already exists and they're making it better. So that could be like, they're not inventing the wheel, but they're making the wheel stronger and faster. And so they see things and immediately want to make it and immediately want to improve it. Now, what happened with the Sirians invented an implant technology to help raise the consciousness level of humanity. And they introduced it on Earth. And as soon as they introduced it on Earth, it was taken over by dark forces and used against humanity. Now, because something that was intended to help was abused in this way, a lot of Sirian starseeds, or a part of their characteristic, is to shy away from the limelight and to shy away from using their divine gifts. And this I've noticed, people that are shy to put themselves out there. And this is a quality I'm seeing at the moment, probably because I need it, right? But I'm seeing that we all need some of this Syrian consciousness. We all need some of this at the moment. So the Syrians are very organized. They actually like structure, but they do tend to hide their abilities, as I said. They can very often get stuck in the planning of something, and they're trying to wait for it to be perfect. And something that they would benefit from is just taking on board, done is better than perfect. Because what we need to understand, what I would say to a Syrian starseed is just get it out there and learn on the job. I would say just get it out there and learn on the job. And a lot of people are reluctant to do that until you understand that there is only you. But the best way to learn is on the job. I mean, I'll give this really resonates with me, which it answers my question as to why am I so drawn to the Syrian consciousness? It's because, I need it. And I'm really resonating with it. So it's like my galactic family of resonance, even though I have already embodied the Arcturian, you see. So it's a bit like me resonating with Spain, having already embodied being English, if you see what I mean. That they often get stuck in that planning stage and don't want to put themselves out there until everything's perfect. So, I mean, I really relate to that. It's a bit like, I'm a bit like that with my tarot card readings in Spanish. I hold back. I sort of hold back and don't put myself out there to do it in Spanish because my Spanish isn't perfect. And I often, when I have had a reading with a Spanish friend, I will make notes and make a cheat sheet. And, I keep thinking, I've got to learn how to do it in Spanish. Of course, the best way to learn how to do it in Spanish is to just do it in Spanish. And so that's just an example of something that there might be something, if you're resonating with this, there might be something in your life that you really want to do, but you're waiting for it to be perfect, and it doesn't happen like that. Just do it. And that is a Syrian energy saying to you, just do it. Do that thing that you're hiding away from. Okay. Because they like to improve things, actually, the Syrian starseeds make really good counselors and really good consultants and coaches and things like that. Those that have serious consciousness, so those that resonate with the serious consciousness, are very focused and they're very determined. They make loyal and trustworthy friends, and they expect the same in return. They tend to be very future orientated and are quite uncomfortable. Hi, Christine. Yes, it does sound really familiar, doesn't it? This is why now I'm understanding why I was urged to do this, because I'm really resonating with the Syrian consciousness at the moment. And I think it's good to understand that, because we can learn a lot from that and help us get our gifts out there a lot more, whilst still keeping whatever we've embodied from other galactic families or countries of origin or what have you. Yes, they're very future orientated. So they actually don't like talking about the past or bringing up past. And I've noticed this as well with the past life healing and the emotion code and stuff. It's a big step. It's a big step for someone resonating with Syrian consciousness to actually dig deep into that pain body that Eckhart Tolle talks about. Now I talk about it, the pain body, the trapped emotions and limiting beliefs and everything. Syrians have a very good sense of humor. which you tend to only see when they're with people that they trust and people that they feel at ease with. They're often daydreamers. Who can't relate to that? But when they're daydreaming, it's actually because they've got a lot going on the inside. So they might not look like they've got a lot going on the outside, but they've got a lot going on. They're often somewhere else on the inside. For the children, they're often they're often picked up as having learning difficulties, but this is just because of their daydreaming nature, and because, to be honest, they find more wealth when they are going within and daydreaming than anything that the present education system can give them. And because they're more interested in going within than anything that the Earth schools can offer them. And so they tend not to, they want hands-on type of learning. And so often they're misdiagnosed with some of these learning difficulties, which I think if anyone, any of you with young kids out there, is an important thing to think about. Very often when these kids are being diagnosed with stuff, it's actually because their soul is just not resonating with the education system, which is actually something that I want to come on to in a minute. They have a very close connection to Earth and nature, and they've often had other lifetimes as Native Americans and American Indians. And they will have close ties and memories to that lifetime. And they are very visual, both in their ability to see things that others do not, and in their way of learning. So if that resonates, there's a high chance that you're resonating with the galactic family of Sirians. So the other thing I want to say about the Sirian energy and why I think it's so important at this time of the Great Awakening is because of this improving things. They want to improve things. Now, they look at the systems going on, right? So they're looking at the education system, like I've just said, and they want to improve it. They're looking at the political system and they want to improve it. And they're looking at the medical system and they want to improve it, right? So there are all these systems that need to be improved, and the Sirian consciousness is the force behind doing that, and that's why I think it's so important at this time to understand these qualities. But of course, what is the main system that we all have? And that's our belief system. And sometimes when we shift our belief system, sometimes we can shift our belief system so much in one moment of self-realization that it can even feel like we're winded for a moment. Sometimes when you have a realization, you see a divine truth, you understand something, and very often that new understanding, that new perception brings down so much of the life that you've lived. We are stuck in a Victorian teaching ethos, and it doesn't work at all for mostly 80% of kids, I'd say. I would say for none of the kids, really. But yeah, exactly, Christine. So this, very often, this realization, it can throw us and knock us for six. Literally, I would call it a tower card. It's disruption and chaos. That's why a lot of us are feeling it so intensely. That's why we've got what people are calling ascension symptoms and stuff like that, because this shift in thinking, this is a good example, actually, what I'm doing today, because my perception of the soul profile readings, finding the galactic family, my perception has changed in the last 10 years to the extent that I'm now doing this and explaining it this way. And so it's actually, now I'm looking back at, me participating in the perceived separation. I am Arcturian, you are Sirian, So it's just an example of how there is often disruption and chaos within us. when we embody a new perception. And very often, I think in tarot cards, so very often it's like the devil card, because it's like we can become really attached, or even in some cases addicted to the old way of thinking, and the old way of believing, and the old way of perceiving and of doing things. For example, it's like cognitive dissonance, isn't it, really? I remember many years ago when I realized it was just an experience that my higher self gave me in order for me to realize something at the level of consciousness that I was at the time. But I had an experience where Archangel Raphael appeared in my bedroom in the middle of the night. I know it's easy to say it was a dream, but it didn't feel like it. I felt very awake at the time, with the message that I was a healer. And I remember relaying that to an energy healing friend of mine at the time, who just scoffed at me and said, "Oh, don't be silly. You know, angels don't exist." And she wasn't saying it from I don't believe in angels. She was saying it, they are just a manifestation of consciousness. And she was right. It's taken me a long time to get there. But I remember at the time feeling like winded, almost winded, that just like knocked and really upset and disappointed, and not wanting to take on board that belief, because I had only just met Archangel Raphael, and I liked the experience, and I liked being told that I was a healer, and it helped me learn the emotion code, and it helped me do that. So it's just an example of how when we're ready to shift our thinking, then the Syrian consciousness is there for us, to help us improve our belief system, and not just improve it, but to help us find coherence with our higher self's blueprint that we have for ourselves. And that's why when we are in alignment with the blueprint, when we are in coherence with the blueprint, that's why it feels so good. That's why we get that feeling of bliss and joy and that feeling of excitement, because it's telling us that we are resonating with the blueprint of who we came here to be. And then when we have that opposite feeling, that's because we've gone against who we really are, which is usually a sign that we're not loving ourselves and others and situations. So tomorrow's full moon is also a good time to release old thinking patterns and attachments. So is there anything else I want to say? So yes, so your waveform, you, may be carrying memory of many other constellations of coherence. So you may have already embodied the consciousness of other galactic families. So this will explain why I was resonating with Arcturian consciousness, and I still do. But I also now resonate with the Syrian, because obviously it's going to help me on my path. So I do want to do some readings to help people find their galactic family of resonance, to help you see what qualities your oversoul wants you to embody at this time of the Great Awakening. And the main reason, as I said before, is to know the gifts that we came here to express. And it's just advice, isn't it? It's like guidance. What I've said about the Syrians already, about getting yourself out there, done is better than perfect. You know, this is just guidance that is coming in at this time. And if you're resonating with the Syrian consciousness, then that guidance will resonate with you, and it's for you. If it resonates with you, that's because you're in alignment, in coherence with who you came here to be. So hopefully it will help. But my aim is to transcend the identity layer. That's the point of this long introduction, without denying the meaningfulness of the resonance. So the resonance with these galactic families is meaningful to you on this path. But I just want to take us above the concept of identity. You know, we don't need to identify as it. We can just enjoy the resonance of that consciousness, if that makes sense. So I invite you to become curious and not to perceive anything I say as conclusion. Okay, we're looking at service archetypes, which means the qualities that will help you be of service to humanity. These are not soul contracts. I don't want you to think that they're soul contracts. And I'm not prescribing anything to you, hopefully. I'm not intending to prescribe anything to you. I'm hoping to allow you to remember. They're galactic tone reflections. And this is a beautiful affirmation. I am ready and willing to allow galactic wisdom in. I am ready and willing to allow the Syrian consciousness. I am ready and willing to embody Syrian consciousness. I am ready and willing to embody whatever galactic family consciousness. You can just meditate in a pyramid of light or wherever you choose to meditate, and you just invite the consciousness in and just affirm, I am ready and willing to allow by connection to this consciousness. I am ready and willing to connect with whatever galactic family's consciousness for the highest good of all. Then detach. Then you have to detach and pretend that you don't really want to connect, and then just wait and see what happens. So if you would like a reading to see what galactic family you're resonating with at this time, there's a high chance it will be Syrian, of course. I will need your full name, your date of birth, and your place of birth in order to do the Akashic record reading. I know some people don't like to give that information out publicly, but I apologize in advance. Once I've written it down, you can delete it if you want. If you don't want it on there for long. But it is my way not only of confirming your permission for me to access your Akashic records, but it is my way to access the Akashic records. So one of my favorite affirmations that I got from you, I am in perfect alignment with my soul's divine blueprint. Oh, thank you, Sarah, for sharing that. I think that is absolutely perfect. Yes, I am in perfect alignment with my soul's divine blueprint. Beautiful. There we go. Sarah's getting us kicked off with this one, getting it all kicked off. I just need to check with the Americans. Oh, you've got the 10th of the 10th. Okay. We could do that one. But you know, the Americans do the dates back to front. Or is it us that do them back to front? But with the 10th of the 10th, we can be all right with that one. Okay. My name is Deborah. Just need a little bit of water. You are coming up as resonating with the Syrian consciousness, Sarah. Whether you've already embodied another galactic family, I don't know, but it's very clear that it's Syrian consciousness. So if you didn't hear, you did hear, you've been here from the beginning. So I've already explained a lot of the characteristics of the Syrian consciousness. So hopefully that will resonate with you. Okay, Christine. Just so that you know, if you can't make it now live, just until the end of August, I am offering just the galactic family resonance, not the whole soul profile. If you want a whole soul profile, you go to my website at deborahjanesutton.com, where you can sign up for a soul profile. You can do that on its own. And you can also, or you can do the all-in-one, which is the heart healing, the emotional healing, and the soul profile reading, and a tarot card reading, all in one. Takes me a couple of hours plus. But just until the end of August, I am doing for €30, just your galactic family of resonance with the information about that galactic family. And to take advantage of that, I should put, there is a PayPal link on the homepage of my website. There's a PayPal link. So you use the PayPal link, and then you send me your full name, your date of birth, and your place of birth. And I will use the email address attached to your PayPal account to get back to you with all the information. So you can do that if you want, Christine, or check out the website at deborahjanesutton.com if you want the full works. Okay, no previous associations from you. Okay, so you are a Syrian starseed then, if I can say it like that. Or it's in your blueprint to embody the characteristics and qualities and the gifts of the Syrian consciousness. Let's just have a little revision of that. This is about you improving things, taking things that already exist, you realizing that you're more creative than you thought. This is about you, done is better than perfect. And you are a good planner and organizer, but you need to get to the end of that. What you plan is divine, but you don't always get to the end of it, and you're being urged to get to the end of it. So this is yes, so they're very the implant technology that was abused was actually designed to run programs that heightened intuitive and telepathic abilities. So one of your roles is to help yourself and others to heighten your intuition and telepathic abilities as well, which is why I think it's so important at this time of the Great Awakening. So you're there to find things to improve, and to trust that the things that you want to put out there will work out. That's also an important point. So yeah, thank you, Sarah, for that. And also the point about being a consultant or a counselor or a coach of some kind, helping other people. You see, when we help other people, we're also improving things. We're improving things, aren't we? We're improving them. We're helping them improve themselves. So that would also be a good avenue for you to go down, whether you do that formally or informally. So I hope that helps, Sarah. Thank you so much for being on there and asking. Okay, so I want to just go through a couple of other soul groups or soul consciousnesses to see if you resonate with them. Let's have a look at one of the other common ones. Well, they're actually quite rare, but I tend to get a lot of them, is Mintakan. So if anybody wants a reading, then please put your full name, your date of birth, and your place of birth. So it's Mintakan. So Mintakan is also a galactic family, if I can call it that, a galactic family consciousness. And the Mintakans are located in the constellation of Orion. And most Mintakan starseeds, if I can word it like that, will look up at that Orion's belt, in that constellation of Orion's belt, those 3 stars in a row. And they come from a water world. Mintakans come from a water world, which was rendered uninhabitable by an environmental disaster. So Mintaka was a bit of a utopian civilization, where no one made conscious negative choices. They have a really hard time with the amount of willful negativity on our planet. They don't understand choices to go to war, to hurt other people, to lie, or to be mean. Their greatest gift, and can be their downfall, is to see only the positive in other people. And they have a way of seeing other people in their light. And they have a way of seeing other people's divine gifts, which makes us feel very good about ourselves. So we all want a Mintakan friend. Mintakans often end up being everyone's cheerleader. They can become quite depleted because they are the people that everyone turns to. They can be very blindsided by other people's choice for negativity. So if you're still seeing the good in people, even when people show you quite clearly their negative side, then that could be that you're resonating with the Mintakan consciousness. So they do actually need to be a little bit more judgmental and stop giving people so many chances. They don't understand these negative choices because they don't have the capacity to make those negative choices themselves. So if you've been a bit of a goody-goody all your life, then you could be resonating with the Mintakan consciousness. If they know something's wrong, they just can't do it. So that's an interesting one. But they often create negativity by ignoring the negativity in other people, not seeing the negative traits of other people. I'm not suggesting that they judge them on it, but they just need to see it, because otherwise it could be detrimental to their own experience, can't it? They're very optimistic, and they're usually found on the positive side of life. Their glass is always half full. And if they're depressed, they pick themselves up very easily. They always have an unshakable faith in a higher power. The tendency to believe only the best in people can lead to disappointment. They have a great need for variety. They'll have many different hobbies and interests. They'll often take on too much responsibility for other people. They'll have an odd relationship with water. They will love it and they will want to be around it. They will even like being in it, but they don't like deep, dark water. It will scare them. They often have that sad longing for home because their home world is no longer inhabitable. So they often have this longing for home, and they're not quite sure why or where it's coming from. So that's Mintakans. I want to briefly have a look at the Arcturians as well, because you might resonate with the Arcturian consciousness. Arcturians are fairly rare, but are incredibly conscious individuals. They bring the energy of spiritual wisdom. They have a great deal of insight to share. They are, however, fairly quiet individuals. They're often counseling the more well-known people behind the scenes. They're often drawn to studying metaphysics and spirituality, where their insight and wisdom is most appreciated. They're often baffled by organized religion. They have strong personalities with an inner strength and inner knowing. They have an inner knowing, and they have this the desire for purpose, and they've often been searching. I can really relate to this thinking there must be more to life than this. What am I doing here? Who am I? And what am I meant to be doing? This striving to find their purpose. This is a very Arcturian quality as well. And that's one of the reasons that I absolutely love the Great Awakening, because it's finally, we know who we are and what we're doing here. So I think that's an example of how it helps us identify. I know we're trying to release identities in the oneness of it all, but on our path to the oneness, to world peace, it doesn't hurt us to have these identities with certain consciousnesses while we're embodying them. I think that's an important point. Arcturians are very creative. They can be public speakers. They could be writers, artists, designers, using their creative talents in some way. They have good storytellers. They don't really open up that much. They will have very few friends. They'll have a lot of acquaintances, but very few friends. They will have the notion that when it comes to friends, quality is better than quantity. And one of the things is a lot of people will go to Arcturians, starseeds, for advice. And they're often perceived as being very strong, complete, and confident on the outside. But actually, people will be surprised to know that Arcturians actually have problems and feelings like everybody else, of course. They can be quite impatient. I can relate to this as well. And they're impatient with people that don't help themselves. I wonder if you can relate to that. That they can be impatient with people that don't help themselves, basically. One of the things that I do in my line of work is I give homework, and it could be different for different people, of course. I mean, it's just things that they can go and do to help them process what they've done in the session with me and to take them on their next step. You know, with the card reading, it often comes up as to what their next step is. And so I always offer homework. And if people don't do it and then they come back to me and they haven't done their homework, I can be quite impatient about that. And I'm like, the school teacher in me comes out. Arcturians, starseeds need a lot of freedom, especially in relationships. They need a lot of alone time. They also need their time with their friends. So any partner of an Arcturian starseed will have to understand that. Although obviously that will work both ways. They will give the partner the freedom as well to do all of that. So that's a very important point. And they make very good storytellers. So that's the Arcturian consciousness. So no one else is asking for a reading. So if you want to know anything about another galactic family, let me know and I could read the notes. Or if anybody would like a reading of which galactic family they are resonating with at this time, then let me know with your full name, date of birth, and place of birth. Otherwise, we can just enjoy the Syrian consciousness coming in and embody it and enjoy improving what already exists and improving the systems, including our own belief systems. So if there's no more questions or comments, I shall love you and leave you. So if you would like a reading and you would like it to be done privately, where you don't have it all out on social media, then get in touch through www.deborahjanesutton.com. And till the end of August, I'm offering the Galactic Family Resonance readings for only €30, and with the information about that galactic family. So yeah, get in touch if you would like that. You have changed my life with the emotion code and muscle testing and so much more. Big love to you. Big love to you as well, Sarah. Maybe you're the reason that I came on here today. I was like really drawn to doing it. I think part of it was for me to consolidate within the cells of my own body, my new perceptions on the starseeds and the whole concept of galactic families. So thank you very much for allowing me to read for you today. And I'm not surprised that you've come up as being a Syrian starseed, because it is the 8th of the 8th. And that's normally what happens, the people that reach out at this time, because like I said, the Syrian consciousness is operating in the 12th dimension. And so this is Syrian energy coming in. And I do tend to find that the Syrian energy it reaches all of us. We can all embody it, but it's like it gives a leg up to their own, the people that have Syrian consciousness, to be embodied on their blueprint. If it's on your blueprint to embody the Syrian consciousness, then that energy will find you at this time of the Lionsgate portal. And that's exactly what's happened with you, Sarah. So thank you for being a really good example of that. So let me know how you get on meditating in the Pyramid of Light and connecting. I am ready and willing to connect to Syrian consciousness, and then see what happens, see what comes out. I've got a feeling that that you will have certain projects that you've started and you haven't finished. And I think the guidance that's going to come through for you is going to help you see which projects you need to get out there. Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. So there's something, Sarah, that you're meant to be getting out there. And I think you will know which one as soon as you meditate and affirm that you are ready and willing to connect to the Syrian consciousness. And let me know how you get on. So thank you. All right. Lots of love to everybody. Mwah, mwah, mwah. See you all soon.